now rocking with the best. The bass get hot, boy, I am so many fresh. I talk cash money like I'm Birdman. Tackle topic straight on, no swerving. All facts is what I'm serving. No one's better or more deserving than me. I bring that heat like Miami on a whole nother level like Gumbo Tiny. I prove points by helping you visualize, using data that's analyzed by eagle eyes. Get your mind right and act like you know. You are now tuned into the Real Untouchable podcast.
Hey, what it do, sports world, and welcome to the Real Untouchable podcast, man. I'm back at y'all again with another episode. This is the Real Untouchable podcast, week 7, week 8, college football talk and predictions, okay? Now, we're going to talk a little bit about last week's games, the most important games from last week, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about the predictions for this week, okay? But listen, before I get started, man, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button, and make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. But hey, let's go ahead and jump into this thing, man. Wait, last week was a crazy week, all right? Y'all know what we had last week. We had some of the top teams. We had Texas at Oklahoma, in which Texas dominated Oklahoma, pretty much solidifying themselves as the best team in all of college football, dominating them 34-3. We also had Penn State going down to USC, beating them 33-30, in which a game that I feel that USC should have won, could have won. They just could not finish that game, and that's the problem with this. That's been the problem with this USC team all year. And like I said, we have Mississippi State going to Georgia. Georgia pretty much finishing them 41-31 in a very high-scoring game. I think that Mississippi State has found themselves a quarterback, y'all. And we had Tennessee, Florida, in which Tennessee was down their entire game. But guess what Florida did? Florida did what Florida do all season. They've been doing all year. But they found a way to lose this game. Y'all gonna hear me say that again about another school, which was LSU, which was Ole Miss, number 9 at Ole Miss, traveling down to Death Valley to face number 13 LSU, and the exact same happened to them, okay? They found a way to lose this game, okay? I've never seen a team in my entire life go, and I'm talking about Ole Miss, did everything in their power to lose that game. They found a way. When I say this team right here in the fourth quarter played absolutely no defense, and they pretty much played the most conservative game that I've ever seen a coach play, which Lane Kiffin is not normally what he do. He played a very conservative game. Okay, when they had a chance to finish LSU, which a touchdown would have finished them, he made sure that they got a field goal to go up by 7, which you go for the kill. Well, excuse me, I'm not going to say K word, but you go for the, you know what? Y'all already know what it is, okay? You go for that, and then you pretty much finish them out. But that's not what Ole Miss did. And that's the reason why LSU went down, got a touchdown, went in overtime, and pretty much did the exact same thing. They stopped Ole Miss. Ole Miss offensive line was horrible all night. Jackson Dort was running for his life all night. He lost his star wide receiver. He lost his star running back Parrish. He lost his wide receiver Harris. They lost so many good players in this game. And like I said, they found a way to lose this game. Okay. And now Ole Miss has 2 losses. This way was a team that had national championship aspiration. Okay, they was a team that felt like that this was their year, and they've already got 2 losses at the beginning, and it's right here just the middle of October. That's not a good look. And then you lose to LSU. Okay, not saying LSU is bad. I'm not saying that. LSU just not the normal LSU. This is a very beatable team. All right, and they had them beat, but they did everything in their power to lose this game, and they lost in overtime. With LSU scored with basically, the first play of overtime during the first possession that they got, throw it up, touchdown, and they walk off 29-26. Okay, but the game of the week was number 2 Ohio State, traveling down to Autzen Stadium, the Ducks back here, traveling down to Autzen Stadium to face the Oregon Ducks. The battle between 2 undefeated teams. Both teams came into this game 5-0. Both teams honestly hadn't really, played against any competition. Even though we knew Ohio State was a really good team, we also had a chance to get a chance. We got a chance to see that this Oregon team is a really good team as well. Okay. And that is what they did. They came into this game. They ended up winning the game 32-31. As y'all know, there was a 12-man on the field. They ran the clock out. A lot of Ohio State fans think that was how they lost the game. No, you lost the game because your defense is not as good as y'all thought they was. Okay, Caleb Downs. Oh my God, y'all know I was a big Caleb Downs fan last year when he was at Alabama. I think that Nick Saban was the best thing that ever happened to him. I think Nick Saban, Nick Saban with his type of defense put Caleb Downs in all types of situations to be successful. That is a total opposite of what they're doing down there at Ohio State with Caleb Downs. Honestly, I didn't even know he played in the game. Like I didn't see him make any plays. I think he might have made one or two plays the entire game. He wasn't even an impact at all. They got him. I think they got him playing out of position, to be honest with you. As you can see, Alabama had him playing a lot around the line of scrimmage. Okay. I think, with Ohio State, they got him playing more in coverage. And playing against Oregon, that ain't a good thing. Because Oregon got the perfect wide receivers with Evan Stewart, Johnson. Them dudes got the perfect wide receivers to expose a very talented but overrated Ohio State defense. And that's exactly what they did. All these players came back. Burks, Denzel Burks, they said that this dude right here was one of the best cornerbacks in all of college football. They said that he's going to hear his name called on the first night of the NFL draft in next year's draft. I cannot see that. I did not see anything special from Burks from Ohio State. I just did not see it. And maybe y'all can talk about me. Y'all can bash me. Y'all can say whatever you want to say. I just did not see nothing special from this kid. Okay, I saw him getting burnt all night by Evan Stewart. And it ain't no embarrassment getting burned by Evan Stewart. A lot of people don't know. Evan Stewart was the number one wide receiver in his class. Okay, yes, he went down to Texas A&M and he had a good career there. Now he's over there at Oregon and he's making plays. Okay, but I watched him abuse. I watched him pretty much put that dude across his lap and spank him all night long. That is exactly what Evan Stewart did to Denzel Burks of Ohio State. And like I said before, this Ohio State defense has been overrated all season. A lot of people keep saying this is the $20 million roster. This is a $20 million team. I saw a team that honestly, I can name at least a good 4 or 5 teams that can beat this team. 4 or 5 teams, meaning that anybody in that top 7 can defeat this Ohio State team. Okay, I might be over-exaggerating, but I know at least about a good 3 of those teams can beat them. Meaning Georgia, I think Georgia can beat them. Texas can beat them. Oregon can beat them. That's 3 already. So I was right. But later, like I said before, Ohio State, they overrated every year. And guess what the NCAA did? The NCAA made sure that Oregon won't be able to use the loophole that they used in that game with the 12-man on the field. They made sure that they ended that. And that just tell you all that Ohio State with their fans, Ohio State with their team, they're just crybabies, y'all. That's all they are. But they want to talk about the team up north. They want to talk about Michigan. Okay? One thing about Michigan, when they lose, they take responsibility. We lost to a better team. When Ohio State lose, their fans are going to find a way to complain, and they're going to say, oh, Will Howard, he did slid, he got the timeout call, or the 12-man on the field was cheating, or they did this. Listen, y'all just lost to a better team. What I saw from this Oregon team, well, first of all, Oregon played without one of their best players, which was their star defensive end, Burt. And that tells me that this team right here really is a really good team without him. But they also showed me that they have one of the best offensive lines in all of college football. And at the beginning of the season, this offensive line was discombobulated. This offensive line was getting dominated the first couple of games. Dylan Gabriel pretty much was getting sacked 3-4 times per game. But they showed me that this team right here has gotten better. That's one thing that they showed me. Dylan Gabriel showed me that he can stand in that pocket and he can make plays. Dylan Gabriel showed me that when December comes, Travis Hunter talking about Heisman, that dude right there possibly, with an undefeated Oregon Duck team, could possibly get his name called in New York for the Heisman Trophy. Okay? And I think that Oregon got something that they normally doesn't have. Even though Trayshawn Holden did the dumbest thing that I've seen a player do, and that right there was one of the most selfish things that I've seen him. Hopefully, Oregon suspends him. But spitting on the player is the most disrespectful thing you can do, and it's something that can probably get your ass whooped. Let's just be real. But when I look at this Oregon Duck team, they have the receivers that they normally haven't had with Trayshawn Holden, Evan Stewart, Johnson. They got really good receivers. If they tight end can get it going, this team right here is going to be a record. This team is going to be a team to be reckoned with. Okay. And like I said, when we look at this team record, right now they're up right now on Purdue, 28-0. They'll win this game. The next game, it's going to be a hard game for them as they face Illinois, even though they are playing Illinois at home. So I think that's a win. Then they go to Michigan. That's going to be the hardest game on their schedule because it's on the road. And it's, even though Oregon is cold as well, but they're going to go to Michigan, the big house, 100,000 fans. That's going to be the first time where we actually see what this team right here is really about. Okay. And then the rest of the way, they pretty much play Maryland, Wisconsin, and then they'll finish it off against Washington. So this team right here possibly is going to go undefeated. If they can win, that Michigan game will possibly be their hardest game. I think they'll be ready for Illinois. I think because they played tonight, they got 7-8 days to get ready for next week's game. So I think that next week game, I think they dominate. I think they're going to pretty much put Illinois on ice, okay? And then, like I said, with Ohio State, yeah, they proved a lot. They lost by 1. It ain't no shame. But same thing with them. Now, they played Nebraska this week. I think next week. They played Nebraska next week. Guess what? I think that Nebraska team can push them to the limit. I think Ohio State will win, but I think Nebraska can pretty much push them just for at least the first half with Dylan Raiola and that really good offense, in a very talented defense, very young defense. But I think they can pretty much push them a little bit. Then they face against Penn State. That's when they go to Happy Valley to face the Nittany Lions, okay? If the Nittany's don't lose no more games, that should be what College Game Day goes to between two top 5 teams, okay? Then they play Purdue, and they play Northwestern, and then they play a really good Indiana team, okay? And then that's when they get their yearly rivalry when they play against Michigan, Ohio State. So I can see at least one more loss for Ohio State. Let's be real. But I don't know if they'll win. I don't know if they'll lose another game. Even though they could possibly lose to Penn State, I don't think they will. I think they have Penn State number. I think they'll beat Penn State. So this right here, what I'm saying, these two teams right here could possibly meet again. But I will say this right here before I get up off these two teams and I move on to this week's game. I will say that Ohio State is not as good as I thought, people. I know you all say I'm hating because I don't like Ohio State, but I don't think they're as good as people make them out to be. They are a very talented team. They are really, a very veteran-led team. But I do not think that this team is as good as people make them out to be. And like I said, y'all can call me crazy. Y'all can say whatever you want to say. I just don't think they are. But hey, let's go ahead and go into this week's game. And y'all know what this is. It's the third Saturday in October. So guess what that? This right here is where some of the best games. Hey, we got Oregon right now against Purdue. I said I knew Oregon would win. I picked Oregon. Okay, we got Oklahoma State versus BYU at BYU down there in Provo. Oh my God, this is a hard place to play at down there at BYU, y'all. At BYU, y'all. That's a very hard place to play. I'm gonna go with BYU to pull it off, even though right now it's 7-7. Okay, we got Virginia and number 10 Clemson. I'm gonna go with Clemson. To win this game. All right. We got LSU, Arkansas. LSU will go to Arkansas to face the Razorbacks. Is this a home game for the Razorbacks? Let me look and see. I thought Arkansas was going to LSU. No, LSU actually coming to Arkansas, okay? Now, guess what, y'all? Hey, I'm going with the Razorbacks for the first upset of the week. I'm going with Arkansas to win this game against LSU. Yes, I'm going with my Hogs to upset another team. They just upset Tennessee. I think they're going to upset LSU as well. I'm going with Arkansas with the upset. All right. We got Miami, Louisville. This right here could be possibly upset as well. But I'm going to go Miami. I'm going to go Cam Ward. They had last week off. I think they'll be prepared this week. I think they'll be ready. I'm going to go with Miami and Cam Ward, the Heisman Trophy candidate, to win this game. All right. We got Nebraska, Indiana. That's going to be a hell of a game. That's going to be, because y'all got to think about it. Indiana's undefeated. Nebraska is a very good team. But Indiana's at home. I'm going to go with Indiana to win this game, even though I hope Nebraska wins. But I'm going to go with Indiana to win this game. We got Auburn, Missouri. Missouri have to bounce back from last week beat down that they took. They got to bounce back from this game. I think they will. Auburn is a mess right now. They're 2-4. I think Auburn is pretty much just this right here, just one of those seasons that they just going to let slide by. A lot of those recruits that went there, like Cam Coleman, I bet you regretting going there now. You might not be regretting it now, but I guarantee you soon in the future, you will regret picking there over teams like Alabama and places like that. So guess what? I hope you're enjoying that because, hey, it don't look too good. But I'm picking Missouri to beat Auburn tomorrow. We got East Carolina versus undefeated Army. Yes, y'all, undefeated Army. I'm going with the Black Knights, all right? I think Army get their 7th win. And this team right here is ranked number 23 right now. This is a really good Army team. All right, I sat back there last weekend and I watched them play. I think Army wins this game and moves to 7-0. All right, we got Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Notre Dame traveling to Georgia Tech to face the Yellow Jackets. This right here could possibly another one of those trap games, one of those upset games. But guess what? I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. I think that this team is ready. I think that they're prepared. I think that they're walking to Georgia Tech, and I think they're gonna win a very tough, hard, close game. I'm going with Notre Dame. All right, we got Michigan at Illinois. Y'all, I've been going against Illinois all season. I'm not going against them this time. I'm going with Illinois to win this game, even though I think the second half of the season, Michigan, this right here might be the Michigan team that we was hoping that we would see. I think that this team right here got a lot of heart, and I think that they'll come out here and they'll play their butts off. But I think Illinois wins this game, and I think, like I said, Michigan right now, this is one of those seasons that there's just a down year for Michigan. So I'm going with Illinois to win this game. We got Charlotte at number 25, Navy. All right, Navy coming in this game just like Army, undefeated. They're 5-0. Okay, I think Navy wins this game. I think Navy dominates with the running game like they've always done every season. All right, and I think they move to 6-0. And guess what? Can y'all imagine if Army versus Navy this year against two undefeated teams? Let's just say both of these teams are ranked in the top. Let's just say the top 20. All right. Let's just say top 15, 20. Can you imagine how big this game is going to be? I won't even be happy to watch for the first time ever. I won't even be happy. But I think we're on course for that. I'm expecting for Navy to win this game. Hey, we got Texas A&M 5-1, number 14, traveling down to Mississippi State. I think Texas A&M win this game. Texas A&M showed me something last week. This team right here has turned over a new leaf. This is a really good team. All right. I think that they move to 6-1. I think that they go to Mississippi State. Even though I think Mississippi State is kind of turning over a little bit with a new quarterback, I think that they lose this game right here. I expect for this right to be a close game. I'm not going to say close game. I would say it would be close early, but I think the Texas A&M will pretty much pull away and win this game. We got UCF at number 9, Iowa State. I think Iowa State dominates them. I don't know what's going on down there with UCF. They paid KJ Jefferson to come down there to be the quarterback. Gus Malzahn, I think he's losing this team, and it won't surprise me if he's on the hot seat by the end of this season. Hell, if he ain't on the hot seat right now, to be real with you, hell, he might be already on there. But I expect for, him and his UCF Golden Knight, I expect for them to lose this game as well, and I expect for Iowa State to move to 7-0. We got Kansas State at West Virginia. This can be another one of those trap games. This right can be one of those games where Kansas State get a trap game, like one that they just played a couple weeks ago. But I expect for Kansas State, they know that sense of urgency. They know that they can't lose a second game. I expect for them to walk into to West Virginia and beat this team. And we got SMU, number 21, SMU, 5-1, going to Stanford. That's going to be a night game. I think SMU can win this game, but I don't want to go against Stanford because I know how it is down there in that stadium. I know how it is down there that one of those late games. Even though I wish they would have played on a Friday. If they would have played on a Friday, I would have definitely went with Stanford. But I'm gonna go with SMU to win this game. And those are my top 25 picks. As y'all can see, I didn't pick the 2 games of the week because I've already predicted those 2 games. But those are my top 25, the Real Untouchable Week 8 predictions. Make sure y'all tune in to the next episode. It's going to be crazy. On Tuesday, we will be talking a little bit about the recap. It depends on how these two games right here end. All right. I might have to come back on here Saturday night and talk a little bit about, the Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, Texas, depending on how these two games end. So make sure y'all tune in for that. And until next time, man, y'all have a great Saturday. And thank y'all again for listening to another great segment of the Real Untouchable podcast with me, Ray Diggs. Peace.